Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my Stamina Templar PvE video Jabsmania for Homestead. You will find additional information on my website, like easy to get gear setups, etc. Those here are my unbuffed stats. When I buff myself, you get this. You might have slightly more stamina because I have purple gear in here. Now this build is made like without Maelstrom daggers. You can actually craft Night Mother's daggers if you want to, and is here to support your group. We're using Alcast, which helps both stamina and magicka players, and we're using Night Mother's gaze, which helps stamina players. In terms of race, you want to use a red guard because this one here is just simply too strong to not be used. Also, conditioning gives you max stem 10%, really helpful. Thief Mundustone. In terms of buff food, we are using this here. And potion wise, we're using the weapon power pots because they give us brutality, savagery, and they restore stamina. We need that. You will find the ingredients on my website. Now, in terms of gear, like I said before, we have Alcast, all weapon damage enchants on the jewelry. You see, every time we activate the synergy, we put a small dot on the enemy, and it reduces the enemy's physical and spell resistance by 3k. That's a lot. On top of that, every time we activate the synergy, on the command procs, giving us 600 health, 1.4k stamina, and 400 magicka. So that's a good way to manage our resources with this build. The Stamina Templars are a little bit weak on the resource management side, and this really helps. 5-piece Night Mother's Gaze gives us more physical penetration, really helpful. And obviously, Valid Ref 2-piece. I do not use Croc because we already have enough penetration, that's why I'm using Valid Ref. It's like a truck. I do have infused piece here. Try to get all divines and use 7 medium armor. Now, my health is a little bit low. If you want more health, you could use a heavy chest. This would give you another 500 to 600 health. And in a group, your tank usually wears ebon armor, which will give you another 1.1k health. So you will get to like 18k. If you have maxed out champion points. As you can see, here I'm using a sharp one and a precise one. I do think you don't need 2 sharpens because we already have so much penetration. If you think Alcast is bullshit, then just use 2 sharpen. Now, I do have Alcast daggers. Obviously, you can craft Night Mother's Gaze daggers and just get Alcast gear and jewelry from normal Mauve Lorcash, for example. That way, like, you will get that stuff pretty fast together. Just the weapons are kind of a bitch to get. So Night Mother's Gaze weapons are craftable, and here you go. Use a weapon damage enchant here, and on the second one, either use a crusher, but if the tank already has crusher enchant, use a poison damage glaive to get more damage. On the back bar, I do use a Maelstrom bow. Obviously, if you don't have one, use a Night Mother's Gaze bow. However, I do think the Maelstrom bow is almost mandatory because it basically doubles the damage on Endless Hail. That's how stupid strong this weapon is. Also make sure that it's sharpened. In terms of champion points, pretty simple setup. 100 Warlord, 100 Mooncalf, 50 Thaumaturge, 53 Precise Strikes, 97 Mighty. Then just go 100 and 100. Depending on what trial you are in, you can swap this around a little bit. Like in Mauve Lorcash, where, for example, the rock card is mostly spell resistance, like magic damage. Then you can put points, you can take points out of here and put more into spell shield, for example. So you take less damage from the boss there. In terms of skills, now here I'm trying something new. I do not use Steel Tornado as an AoE anymore. I use Bombard. I will get to that in a second. Deadly Cloak, nice AoE damage. But mostly here to use the 20% damage mitigation we get from it. Really fucking strong, you need this. Because we don't have shields like Magicka setups. Rending Slashes, really nice dot. Biting Jabs. This is our main spammable, deals a shit ton of damage. Also can proc Burning Light. As you see, it has a 25% chance to deal like 5k physical damage. That's quite a lot. It's basically a free proc. Power of the Light. Now this here is also to support your group with Minor Fracture and Minor Breach, reducing the enemy's physical and spell resistance by 1.3k. You should have this. A healer also can use this, because you really need to make sure you have Minor Breach and Minor Fracture on the enemy most of the times, if possible. Rearming Trap. Obviously we want the Minor Force, and it also does nice damage. Then I'm using Rend. The reason why I use Rend is it deals a ton of damage, and on top of that, it heals us for 50% of the damage done. That's so much, it's fucking crazy. If you want, you could use the Crescent Sweep, but I still prefer Rend. Back bar, Endless Hail, Bombard. Now this will be our main AoE at spammable. Why do I say that? Why are we not using Steel Tornado? So first off, we are slightly safer if we can stand out a little bit, but remember, if you want to proc Alcast, it has like an 8-meter cone. So you shouldn't stand too far away, right? But now, the reason why we use Bombard is because of the Hawkeye. Every time you do a light or heavy attack, you get 5% increased bow damage on your abilities, and it stacks up to 5 times, so 25% extra damage. And you can keep that up for your Endless Hail and Bombard. That's a lot of freaking damage, believe me. So it basically hits harder than Steel Tornado eventually. Now here I don't have it morphed yet. Use Poison Injection. Use it from 50% and below, because we do not use Maelstrom weapons. Caltrops. Really nice AoE ability. If you have it, use it. It's heavy on the resources though, so be careful. Then the last skill, it's really up to you what you use here. I do recommend using Echoing Vigor. It has a bigger range, so it helps your group more. Then the last ulti, I use Aggressive Warhorn to support your group. Obviously, if you use Rend, you don't really need it here, but I just have it in case I need to use my horn. Now in terms of rotation, I'm using a simplified rotation, so before you engage, you want to make sure you have Deadly Cloak up. Drop your, I will just show it slowly. Drop your Endless Hail, Caltrops, Weapon Swap. If you have an ulti, use your ulti. Then use Rending Slashes, Power of the Light, Rearming Trap, and Jab. Jab as long as Endless Hail is running, and like a second before Endless Hail runs out, you want to Weapon Swap. Drop Endless Hail, swap back, use Rending Slash, use Power of the Light, use Rearming Trap, and Jab. When it's on 1 second, Weapon Swap, reapply everything, and Jab. Now you see, like, Power of the Light has a 6-second duration, Trap 12, Rending Slash is 9. Endless Hail 10 and Caltrops 30. So to simplify the rotation, what I did is I only have to think about Endless Hail. The moment I go on my back bar, I reapply Endless Hail. I know when I swap to my front bar, I have to reapply Rending Slashes, Power of the Light, and Trap, and then sweep again, jab again. Once Endless Hail is low again, same rotation. If you think you're good enough, you can try to keep up Power of the Light at all times. However, like, it requires time to get used to it. So I really prefer this rotation because it's just simpler. Obviously at 50% mob health, also start using Poison Injection. Just to show you again, before we engage Deadly Cloak, then Endless Hail, the Caltrops, Rending, Power, Trap, then Jab. As long as Endless Hail is there. Weapon swap. All my dots. Voila. Deadly Cloak is really the only thing that doesn't like manage to get into the rotation, so you just need to reapply it whenever you have time. Or it doesn't really matter if this has a downtime, it's mostly here to get the 20% damage reduction. That's basically it. If you do have any questions, please ask me in the comment section below. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.